Hi folks, so another episode of Heartbeats and Horsepower. This time we've got another Yamaha, whereas yesterday I filmed with the Yamaha YR125, but this time we've got the YS125. So slightly different, and we'll get into what maybe some of those differences are. But we've got the awesome Harry, who's joined us, friend of mine, and also coming to the bike meet as well. So folks, the bike meet on the 31st of May, Factory Heads Cafe, Donington. Hopefully I'll see you there. So Harry, how are you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good ride this morning?
It was, yeah. I didn't have my maps with me, so a bit of guess, but I got it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. You found the place.
Yeah.
And of course we are at the the Mega Motorcycle store again. Great little place to film out of the wind down the side of the store. So as always, folks, if you need any gear, clothing, accessories, equipment, check out the Mega Motorcycle store in Swindon. So Harry, you've got the YS125, the Yamaha YS125.
Yes.
So tell us about this bike, mate. Give us some specs.
So this is a 2018 model. It's a 125 air-cooled engine. It's got 10.6 horsepower and 10.8 newton meters of torque. It's a 5-speed transmission and a 14-litre fuel tank.
So again, another nice sort of light little bike. I guess it's really easy to manoeuvre around, especially for a big guy like yourself.
Yeah, it just nips in and out of everything at low speeds, yeah.
and with a 14-litre fuel tank, so that's slightly bigger than the YBR125, which is 13 litres, so only a litre in it.
Yeah.
But what do you sort of spend on fuel, roughly?
To fill it up is about a tenner. Like if I've got a bit in there, and they say you can get about 300 miles out of it. So
wow,
yeah. it's really good on fuel.
300 miles and twice as many smiles.
Yes, exactly.
And how long have you had this bike, Harry?
I have had it since March.
Right.
That's why I did my CVT. I bought it 2 days before I did my CVT, and then I've been going occasionally to work. It's quite far, so mostly around my area, just doing little B roads, A roads. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Loving it though.
And what does it feel like? Because obviously it's your first bike since doing your CVT. Yeah. I'm sure you'll be upgrading as soon as you can, but for now at least, what is it like to ride?
So I did my CVT on a Kawasaki Z125, a little naked sports bike, and that was a bit more confidence inspiring than this at higher speeds due to the thinner tyres. So that's the first thing I noticed when I got on it. Yeah. It takes a while to get used to how easily it tips.
Right.
But after that, it's not been too bad. It's got a decent amount of power because it's quite light, so it still keeps up with most traffic, unless you go on the faster roads. Yeah. The annoying thing is the linked brake system.
Oh, okay.
So to meet Euro 4, it either has ABS or linked brakes, and because this is a budget model, it's got the linked brake system. So as you push the rear brake, it will apply the front brake. Which means you can't just rear brake on gravel roads. Okay. So that's one downside, I'd say.
And what does that feel like when you actually operate those linked brakes?
If you're already on the front brake and you put your rear brake on, you'll feel your lever go away from you because it's pushing it in. Yeah, so it's a strange sensation.
Directly linked to each other, like as the title suggests.
It is, yeah.
That's weird. I guess that would take a bit of getting used to.
It feels weird, yeah. I didn't realise when I first bought it.
Yeah. And if you don't mind sharing then, so roughly what did you pay for this? Because what year is this?
It's a 2018.
2018.
When I bought it, I had 6,200 miles and I paid £1,500.
Okay, so fairly cheap. Fairly cheap. And insurance is
a 420 quid for third-party fire and theft.
Right.
Yeah. I wanted a MT or a CB, but the insurance was double. So, I said, I'm only having it for a year. Yeah. It's not worth it.
That's a sensible decision. I mean, so many young riders want to go out and buy their dream bike to start with, but insurance is more often than not the biggest barrier for new riders getting out onto the road. And it's horrendous sometimes, the cost of insurance. But that's not too bad then. So it's cheap to run, it's cheap to fuel, relatively cheap for yourself to insure.
Yes.
And then is there anything else that you can tell us about what it's like to own?
I love how light it is. I keep it in the back of I go through one of my little side rooms because I don't have rear access, and I keep it in the back. So I can pivot it on the front wheel by picking the rear up. It's so easy to manoeuvre.
The side stand trick.
Side stand, it's got a centre stand, which is lovely for doing your chain. Don't need paddock stands. You just put it on there and spin it around. Yeah. And it's air cooled, so servicing is limited. It's just oil, spark, and filters.
So that's fairly straightforward. And something I've recommended before to people as well is when you get a bike is to learn as much as you can about at least basic maintenance and things like oil changes. It can save you a lot of money in the long run if you're willing to tackle those things yourself, and if you have some decent tools.
Yeah, there's plenty of tutorials
this would be fairly easy to
and
and this would be fairly easy to work on, wouldn't it?
Yes, yeah, very easy.
So how long before you upgrade then to do, because you're going to do your full direct access next?
Yes. Yeah. So me and Dad, my dad did the CVT at the same time, and we wanted to get a little bit of experience on the 125.
Yeah.
So in about 9 months' time, we'll be doing our fillet together as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, I bet you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, can't wait. Not sure what bike I'm getting yet, but yeah.
Right, okay, so that was going to be my next question as well. Is like, what do you think you would end up on? I mean, have you got a couple of ideas?
Yeah, so I'm looking at either like an R6 style or maybe a Daytona 675.
Right.
Because I am quite a slow, sensible rider most of the time, so I feel like I'll just take it really easy. I know R6s are still not the greatest starter bike on a fillet, but yeah. It's either that or a sports tourer, like a 650, like a CB 650, CBR.
Yeah. Well, you'll have had a fair bit of experience on the road at least, and I always say to learners, you know, the bike's the bike, but really it's more important to get used to not only handling the bike, but get used to being in traffic, riding in the wet, riding in the cold, riding when you're tired, riding when you're wide awake, you know, experiencing as many different conditions as possible.
Yeah.
Right?
The cold is a no joke. I took it to work, I leave at 4 in the morning. And it was summer in like the day, but in the morning, it's so cold. I got to work, I couldn't feel my hands. I was like, why did I do this?
We've all been there. We've all been there. So that's really good, mate. That's fantastic. And if you were to give anyone some advice, somebody that wants to start to get into bikes, what would you say to them?
I'd say look at a bike like this because you may only want it for a year or two, and it's not worth chucking loads of money at it just to, I know it may be your dream bike, but I settled for this and I don't regret it at all.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, that's a good point actually, because it is all about progress, isn't it? You know, I mean, some people do pass their full A from going from no license to full A.
Yeah.
They get a litre sports bike, and their learning curve is so steep. You've got to be quite disciplined. But if you can, you know, spend a little bit of time on a bike like this, and like I say, build up those skills, then fantastic.
Lovely.
Just one more question then. So going through the CBT process, how did you find that? Because a lot of riders, or a lot of new learners I should say, they might struggle with like the U-turn or the figure of 8. You know, there's normally a couple of things that are common to people struggling with. How did you find the whole CBT process?
I found it really quite intuitive because I used to ride like off-road bikes a lot, and it's just looking where you're going, staying calm and learning to feather that clutch properly. And your instructor's there to help you, so if you are struggling with something, they'll coach you a bit more on that, and then it's not the end of the world if you have to come back the second time.
Exactly. And riding off-road's really good. I cut my teeth riding off-road as well, and you can learn so many skills riding off-road that are transferable to riding on the road. You know, getting used to the bike moving around underneath you, getting used to feeling the brakes, feeling the loss of traction, and it can be invaluable. And I'd always recommend anyone do at least an off-road experience day. So Harry, that's fantastic, mate. Have you got any plans with this bike? Are you going to do anything to it, or are you going to keep it as is and for the next 9 months before you upgrade?
I would like to get some nice tyres on there, some good tyres, because these are some unknown brands. It makes me a bit sceptical. Maybe some heated grips for the winter as well. That's about as far as I'd go, I'd say, and then I'll just sell it as it is, put the money towards my next bike.
Fantastic. Well, good luck with that whole process, Harry. Looking forward to the bike meet, seeing you again on the 31st. And folks, if anybody wants to be featured on Heartbeats and Horsepower, like I always say, just get in touch. We'll make some arrangements, and we'll make it happen. I want to try and do as many different types of bikes as I can and get your thoughts on your bikes. So Harry, thank you very much, mate. Been an absolute pleasure.
Been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you.